You don't need to worry about me trying to get revenge on Diddy. I've already made 3 strategic moves that guarantee he'll never be able to come after me or my family. To start with, I personally contacted the legal teams representing the victims. The real reason he isn't walking free has nothing to do with what's visible to the public. It's the hidden cases that were buried behind the scenes. I helped provide legal funding for 7 victims who had stayed silent for years, and I brought in some of the best criminal defense attorneys in the country to make sure their voices were finally heard. Next, I went after every possible business deal he had waiting for him after release. This wasn't random or rushed. I mapped this out 2 years in advance. By the time he was sentenced and still clinging to the idea that he might get out someday, every potential partner had already backed away and cut all ties with him. And third, it's not just about evidence. I don't rely on a single source. I have copies, backups, and safeguards in place. What I uncovered is a complete minefield that had been hidden for 2 decades. I dug up secrets spanning the last 30 years, supported by direct testimony from the victims themselves. We spoke with more than a dozen people he deceived, intimidated, or abused. You think that's too extreme? It's not. He spent decades destroying other people's lives. All I'm doing is making sure he serves a few extra years in prison for the damage he caused. I'm not scared of his associates, and I'm not worried about his threats. I know that somewhere in there he's still imagining a comeback, still dreaming of returning to the spotlight. But the reality is simple. He's never coming back.
Thank you. Love you. Love you a lot.
Is this real life? I feel crazy. The world is spinning around me. What's happening? You have 4 eyes. I have 2 fingers.
For a long time, the industry dismissed it as nothing more than background noise. Clips were brushed off as jokes, moments were ignored, and questions were never seriously pursued. Now, however, with 50 Cent's new documentary, the entire timeline is being closely re-examined. What once felt like mere rumor is being dragged into the open and forced into the light. At the center of this story stands Diddy, a man whose influence shaped countless careers, and Justin Bieber, a child star who was pulled into that world far too early. This isn't about cherry-picked clips or online speculation. It's about power, enforced silence, and how long the truth can remain hidden when too many people profit from refusing to look too closely.
Yeah, so as soon as you turn 16, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let you rock this every time you come to LA. Yeah, this gonna be yours. So every time you come to LA, it's a little dusty, but you know, come get the front shot of this.
Man.
Air that out. Minute.
Woo. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna be driving this next year.
Yeah, when you get 16, you come out, you gotta, you know, wear your seat.
I mean, I'm 15. You could ride in the passenger seat. I got my permit. Not yet.
No.
All right,
No,
16.
Not
16.
ready. Let's slow down. Let's slow down, Josh.
Okay.
Let's slow down. Okay.
One step at a time.
But yeah, the keys is yours when you get 16. You're good to go.
I'm good to go.
Yeah.
All right.
And then when you get 18, you get the house. You get the mansion.
Okay. I get the mansion?
Yeah.
All right. So where are we off to now?
Where would you like to go?
I mean, wherever you want to go. Where are we going?
So check this out, yo. Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. I have been given custody of him. You know, he signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full crazy.
I'm going crazy.
Crazy.
I'm taking this out tonight.
What you want to do? What you want to do over the next 48 hours?
48 hours. Let's go. Let's just go get some girls. Let's go hang out with some girls.
A man after my heart. That's what I'm talking about, kid.
Justin Bieber's rise was presented as a modern-day fairy tale, a story of talent, fame, and unstoppable success. Yet beneath that polished narrative sat a deeply uncomfortable reality. A minor was navigating powerful adult systems without any clear or visible safeguards in place. Archival footage and interviews revealed Bieber being placed in environments where access, influence, and fame were prioritized far above age-appropriate boundaries. For years, these moments circulated quietly in public view, brushed aside as quirky celebrity behavior instead of being questioned for what they truly represented, an institutional risk hiding in plain sight. The implication here isn't about a single incident or one specific act. It's about normalization. It's about how an entire industry gradually trained itself to look the other way. When childhood is exchanged for access and opportunity, the question that remains is unavoidable. Who is ultimately held accountable for the cost?
You understand? You got people in the industry that's been saying for years, this man is having sex with underage. So now the federal government is looking at that like, yo, when is somebody going to come forward? We got this information, this alleged information, but nobody's willing to come forward. Then they go on and say, yo, Shakur Stewart mysteriously dead. Supposed to be a self-inflicted wound. Person that had everything going for him in their life. Kim Porter, dead. Somebody's car gets blown up. This guy is walking around threatening other actors, people. Somebody got to get involved in it. If it ain't the state, let it be the feds. Somebody got to stop him. He lucky that God given him the opportunity to be stopped while he's alive, then have to go to hell and face that shit. He got a chance to repent now, change his life.
You mentioned minors, and a lot of people have been trying to drag Justin Bieber into this situation because there's a lot of suspect looking videos with Diddy and Bieber in it, and they're making a lot of allegations.
50 Cent has long presented himself as an outsider to Sean Diddy Combs' private world, suggesting that he was aware of what went on without ever being directly involved. For years, his statements were brushed off and dismissed as nothing more than personal rivalry. Now, in a very different climate shaped by legal scrutiny and cultural reassessment, those same remarks are resurfacing with new weight. This doesn't automatically confirm every claim he made, but it does change how his intentions are viewed. Warnings often exist long before concrete proof ever becomes public. That reality is uncomfortable to confront. When criticism comes from someone seen as an adversary, it becomes far easier to disregard it entirely. The question that lingers is how many early warning signs are lost simply because the person sounding the alarm is considered reached far beyond the music itself. He held control over access to the spaces where careers could either take off or quietly come to a halt. Justin Bieber's closeness to that level of influence reflected a wider industry mindset, one where opportunity didn't move through clear, transparent systems, but instead flowed through powerful gatekeepers who decided who advanced and who didn't.
Diddy bought his son a Bentley. Maybe, he could buy you one also.
Got me a Lamborghini.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's nice.
I haven't gotten it yet, though.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. When is that coming, that Lamborghini? We talked about this last time.
He had the Lamborghini for a day or two, and he had access to the house, and he knows better than be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television.
Well, apparently not.
Something, everything ain't for everybody.
Do you believe the guy in the tape is white?
If he's bigger than Diddy, and he's not none of the names that I
I said, probably so. But then they say he was young too.
Yeah, they say he was young.
Let me get his name right. I hope it ain't the Bieber. I hope it's not the Bieber.
That's a good one. It might be him. But if they saying that the guy is young and he's an A-lister, I can't think of that many black people, man.
Right. Not at all. And somebody that more powerful, more of a celebrity than Diddy. You understand what I'm saying? If they were saying somebody that was more celebrity than Diddy, he was an A-lister, he was younger. You know what I'm saying? And if he's not black, it would have to be the Bieber. That's his name, Bieber? They said I got that wrong too. Justin Bieber, allegedly. I don't know, bro.
Right. But when you heard the news that Diddy, he had a tape with another man, did that catch you by surprise or no?
Well, all this shit is by surprise to me. A lot of this shit is by surprise to me, to be totally honest, man. Because I knew Puff, I knew Puff Daddy.
The concern raised by observers goes beyond whatever may have happened behind closed doors. It focuses on why public oversight was missing in the first place, especially in a system where career advancement is tied so closely to proximity to power and authority. Within that kind of structure, boundaries stop being firm and instead become negotiable, shifting according to influence rather than protection. The real question, then, is who actually had the power to say no, and who ultimately bears the consequences for refusing.
I knew Diddy before he was Love and Brother Love and back to Diddy. So, no, but the diddler, he's the diddler now. A lot of it's surprising, but it's not unheard of. Because you hear of all kinds of shit, and whether it registered with you or you internalize it or something like that, that's a whole nother story. But a lot of this stuff is crazy. But this is the world that we live in now, man. That these individuals thinks is all right. Bruh, when does it comes all right to be sitting there eating food off a naked woman? When did we start doing what they do? Let's keep it a buck. When did we start doing what they do? These guys is popping pills. These got Jay-Z dancing with a chick that's into cannibal.
Long before Justin Bieber ever stepped into the spotlight, Usher had already spoken publicly about being introduced to Diddy's world while he was still a teenager, an experience he later said exposed him to adult realities far earlier than he should have faced them. That history is important because it establishes a precedent rather than relying on rumor or hindsight. It shows that this wasn't an isolated story emerging years later, but something that had already been acknowledged in plain sight. When the same pathways appear across multiple generations, coincidence becomes a far less convincing explanation. What begins to emerge instead is the suggestion of systemic continuity, trust and access being passed down without meaningful reform. If discomfort and concern were recognized once before, the question becomes unavoidable. Why was the system left unchanged for the next child to enter it?
Might make you change your mind. Look at Little Nas X. He fizzled out fast too.
So would you say someone like Justin Bieber's a victim? I just seen he is reportedly selling his whole catalog because he's broke.
Yeah. Yeah. And once he finishes getting that money, I don't understand why he's broke. He didn't have to be broke. Usher just wouldn't stop robbing him.
Damn.
I mean, Usher couldn't keep his hands out of his pocket. It's funny. He got him signed and turned over custody to Diddy. Boy was never the same, and neither was Usher's pockets, because Usher's been living off of Justin Bieber's money. He ain't been living off of his own. Because the truth is, Usher don't really make that kind of money. And I'm really just kind of sick and tired of Usher.
Yeah,
I'm really kind of disgusted with Usher Raymond, who does Greek wrestling nude with men over frosted flakes, allegedly. Like, I'm sick and tired of this guy who everyone knows got the Diddy bumps, who's been sued for passing them on and lost, is still sitting there disgracing women in front of their men who bought the tickets to like that whole scheme.
He's causing a lot of divorce courts.
But why? He don't even want them. He don't want them women. He's literally doing it just to destroy relationships.
As scrutiny on Diddy grew, numerous celebrities who had once been close to him opted for silence, while 50 Cent chose to amplify his observations and commentary. This stark contrast reveals an unspoken equation within the industry. Speaking out carries the risk of damaging relationships, whereas remaining silent protects them. In this environment, loyalty often blends seamlessly with self-preservation. The implication isn't necessarily cowardice, it's calculated strategy. It reflects an ecosystem where truth constantly competes with survival. And when silence emerges as the safest choice, it raises a difficult question. In such a system, does accountability still have any real place?
I watched a video of an interview of Justin Bieber, and he was talking about Billie Eilish. And he was like, he was almost in tears. He's like, I just want to protect her. I just want to keep her safe.
Yeah.
What do you think he went through?
Because he knows what's been happening to Billy. Just like everybody knew what was happening to Millie Bobby Brown girl with Drake. These people are monsters.
Jermaine Dupri said something interesting.
Mm-hmm.
He said the reason that R&B isn't as powerful as it is anymore is because children are going to church.
Yeah.
What is it about the transfer from the spiritual to the secular do you believe that's what made R&B so powerful?
Understand this. Rhythm and blues was a combination of gospel and soul music. Because soul music has always been around in one form or another. It's just evolved throughout the years. And you got gospel, rhythm and blues. That's what put that together. That's why they made such a big stink about the Ray Charles incorporating gospel sounds into secular music. Because they wanted people to separate the two. This is demon, this is good. The truth is none of that's real. Right. There is no bad, there is no good. There is what is and there is what is not. And that's sad. But when you take the spirit that comes from that.
Justin Bieber has never come forward to publicly accuse Diddy of any criminal wrongdoing, yet his later reflections on anxiety, loss of control, and emotional breakdowns create a record that challenges any straightforward narrative. He describes feeling overwhelmed at a young age, caught in a world of adults with competing interests, and left without the tools or support to protect himself.
Just testified against Diddy to the grand jury and had to give up 8 videotapes to the feds that contained celebrities in these freak-offs with Diddy, is now listing some of the names that he saw on these tapes. And this man said that he got these tapes from a very close friend of Kim Porter's, and these were Kim Porter's tapes that she was going to use against Diddy. And some of the names that he says are some that we have heard rumored over the years. He said he saw Justin Bieber on this tape and he appeared to be underage during this time. He also saw Usher on these tapes and Usher definitely appeared to be underage. And this one gave me the chills because we've heard that Usher is the one that sent Justin Bieber to Diddy. Courtney Burgess sat down with the Too Strong channel here on YouTube and started naming some of the celebrities that he saw on these tapes.
Were kids involved in these parties that you can verify from looking at the tapes? If
Justin Bieber was older than he's supposed to have been, yes. If Usher was older, well, Usher was definitely young.
Okay.
You understand? It showed the part with his, the blood was all in his bed. You understand? It looked like they came home from a event, a party or something.
Went on to explain how Danny Boy was also in one of these videos with Mary J. Blige and Diddy together. And Danny Boy admitted when he was 15 that Mary J. Blige flew him out to New York and he slept with her while he was under.
The implication here isn't about the law, it's about the human experience. Trauma doesn't always come packaged with a formal allegation. Often, it emerges years later as pain or damage that exists without a name. And if the harm is systemic, why do we insist on waiting for a single, named accusation before we're willing to recognize it?
Mary J.
Danny Boy.
Danny Boy, okay.
You know what Danny Boy is?
I heard that before. I don't, I've been so far away from hip hop, I forgot, but I have heard that name, Danny Boy.
Danny Boy, back then, he looked like he was about 16. They both was about.
He also claimed that Jaden Smith, Will Smith's son, were in these videos, and he also said that there was photographs and videos of Diddy eating off of young girls.
Pictures or images of any of this stuff?
Yeah, I got Justin Bieber, Will Smith's son, whatever his name is. Other females on the table, they was young. He was eating off them. A lot of entertainments in there. I got calls from certain of them wanting to get the tape out of my hand. And I said, I don't know what you're talking about.
And I have said that if this man testified to the grand jury, the feds had to have some reason to bring him in to actually testify against Diddy. But y'all let me know what you guys think about this man naming all of the people on the Diddy tapes in the comments.
When Diddy's story reached federal court, the discussion shifted from rumor and speculation to documented legal proceedings. Charges, verdicts, and appeals defined the boundaries of what could be responsibly claimed, while simultaneously opening the door for broader institutional examination. Courts focus on specific actions, not the underlying culture, leaving many larger questions unresolved. The implication is clear: legality does not automatically equal morality, and legal outcomes do not erase structural harm. And when the courtroom ultimately closes a case, does that also mean the conversation itself is meant to end?
Do you think he has a mole or an informant in his camp that's cooperating?
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. Listen, bro. Just doing law enforcement myself, just take for instance. I think the individual was a Syracuse former basketball player named Jason Barnes or Beard or something like that. He already had drug charges against him. The day Diddy house get raided, they catch him getting on a plane and they put him into custody. Didn't that sound a little weird? People didn't catch that. They either put him in custody for a couple of reasons. You understand? One, to make a witness out of him, or to safeguard him and protect him for anything that could happen to him, because they had already stated, allegedly, that he was some kind of mule for the people over there at Diddy's house. So now, with that information, that he was already known by the government for drug charges, wouldn't that be an individual that you use? I'm going to give you something different. And I'm going to give you something else that people don't even think. On the other day, I seen on the video that Puff had ran into Justin Bieber. They met up. And he started tapping him as if he was searching him and see if he had some kind of device on. Did you see that?
Yep.
Check this out. What if the federal government have already talked to Justin Bieber And Diddy did that on tape. That means in his mind, he think this person may be a witness.
The intersection of 50 Cent, Diddy, and Justin Bieber exposes a deeper truth about how celebrity systems operate. Power flows upward, risk trickles downward, and accountability often comes last. Youth is packaged and sold as authenticity, access is presented as mentorship, and silence is rewarded as professionalism. This isn't a story about certainty or isolated incidents, it's a story about recurring conditions. And when the same patterns continue to produce harm, the question becomes unavoidable. At what point does the system itself demand scrutiny?